Look, I'm going to get right to it. There are many parts of the world that have honey. And interesting enough, we found out that a colony of bees, so they're not all like working bees. I'm not making this stuff up. 50 to 60,000 working bees in a colony. And then they go out. But listen to this. I was fascinated with this, okay? They have to go out, and it takes them about 2 million flowers, which equates to about 55,000 miles. Think about if you had those frequent flyer miles, right? You'd be wearing out some track shoes. To make 1 pound of honey, which is not a lot, 1 pound of honey. Am I correct on that, Jill?
Yep.
There's the magical Miss Jill that I was telling you about earlier, folks, who just kind of always kicks it up for us. And I'm going to tell you another thing beside that. 3 forms. There's the comb, which is right out of the sort of the bees deal there, okay? And then there's liquid, and then there's emulsified. And one other fast thing before we start. When you really look at honey, and I'm not talking about, no offense, but you know those things that are in like in the alligator deals or, you know, shaped like, a lion or whatever. Because honey in a lot of countries are very serious. So just remember this. The darker the honey, generally the richer and deeper the flavor. The lighter the honey, the lighter it is. Let me tell you what, before we start, I'll give you a great example. In Italy, they have a chestnut honey, okay, which is basically flavored by the chestnut plant. You want to smell it? Do you like chestnut?
Yeah.
Tell them at home, does that smell like chestnut?
Oh, yeah.
It does, huh? And this is what they do that's very popular in Italy. They'll take Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Must be the pork fat thing that, you know, Parma. And then they'll take a little bit of chestnut honey, okay? And they'll just drizzle a little bit of that chestnut honey like that right on the Parmesan cheese. Can you imagine having that for breakfast? I mean, come on. So we'll let you have a little piece and you pass it around. We'll make some friends. And now we're going to get started on our first dish. I'm creaming some butter to make these muffins. And with that, beside the honey, which I now have all over me, I have a little bit of orange zest, some eggs, and I have some honey, and this here, you see, doesn't look like the real deal, but it is the real deal. This is emulsified. Am I right, Jill?
It's crystallized.
It's crystallized, sometime known as emulsified, but crystallized. It's now called Jill Live. No, let me tell you what happened. You see, folks, the crystals in here have to be worked out, okay? So that's another form of what the honey can be in like this. You see, it's just thick. We're going to use this type of honey right now to make our muffins. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add our egg one at a time. And then we're going to start adding in now, instead of sugar to cream this, we're going to add in our crystallized honey. Really pure, good and sweet. You know, considering the fact that there are other foods in the world, like saffron being the most expensive spice, you would think after 55,000 miles and 2 million flowers later that this stuff would be more than, 99 cents, wouldn't you think? But some honeys really are. Okay, so now we've got that in there. We're going to add the honey. And then I'm going to add the milk as well. And while that's creaming together, I'm going to add a little bit of my orange zest. I'm going to mix our dry ingredients. I have flour, baking powder, a little salt, and baking soda, which is going to be the leavening agent. The batter's all together. You want to be sure not to overmix the batter, because then your muffins will be like, you know, cement. And then right at the end, we're going to fold in some chopped dates and walnuts. And we'll just fold these in. Then you take a muffin pan of your choice, whether you like them little or not, or regular size or bigger size, and then basically lightly butter them, and then we're going to start filling in. I generally just kind of do it with a couple of spoons or a couple of spatulas, but used to do it with my hands. So we're going to spoon in the muffins here, like such. And then some folks like to sprinkle a little cinnamon, sugar mixture on top, whatever kind of turns you on. Some people like put some more orange peel or the zest. $375, and this is going to bake in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes for our muffins. All right, so I think you get all of that. Fill the muffin tins right up to the top, bake them in the oven. Now let me show you something else. This is what they look like, and I highly recommend that, you see how fast that takes. So try to do them when you're getting ready to eat them a couple hours before. They're just absolutely delicious. Whether you put blueberries in them, whatever you put in them, bananas, it's a basic muffin mixture that we did, but using honey instead of sugar in the creaming process. Now, speaking about that, I got a stick of butter here, and we're going to blend that also with a little bit of orange zest, the juice of an orange, and some more of the dark honey. See the color of that one? And what we're doing here is we're making a honey butter to go with our delicious muffins. So we're going to let that just sort of mix up for a little bit, making our honey butter. Let me just tell you something. When this is done, this is the consistency that it'll look like. You see how thick that is? Which is the honey butter. And then what you can do is you can just, when you're ready, you can just sort of, look at the color of that. You can just spread some of that honey butter right on your muffin like that. So I'm going to make friends right now already. You see that? Oh, yeah. All right. So there's the muffins, the honey butter, which you can use for a lot of things. It's great on banana bread, too.